Bhadman comes every night to sleep with his young house help. He has been living with her for over 2 months, using her as his personal pleasure whenever he desires. She comes from an extremely poor family, and her father, unable to afford her schooling, willingly sent her to work as a house help when Bhadman came asking for her. He promised the father that while his daughter worked in his house as a house help, he would take care of her schooling and clothing, unaware that he had a hidden agenda. A promise of care can be a disguise for a hidden agenda. Not every hand that offers help has pure intentions. Unbeknownst to her father, Bhadman had long been attracted to his daughter, and knowing she wouldn't accept him as a married man, he cunningly requested her as a house help. The lady feels uneasy and unhappy about the troubling situation she unknowingly stepped into, and refusing to let him into her bed, she calls Bhadman back to the promise he made before she became his house help. Beyond the financial promises Bhadman made to her father, he had secretly assured her of her safety and protection from harm. But now, he himself is the one violating the very promise meant to keep her safe. Those who vow to guard innocence can become the very hands that destroys it. Bhadman remains unmoved by the lady's pleas, seeing nothing wrong in taking pleasure from her whenever he desires. In his mind, he believes that because he provides for her and treats her better than an average house help, he has the right to be intimate with her. Generosity can never be a justification for abuse. He tells the lady that as long as she lives in his house under his care and finances, he has full claim over her, then moves to touch her, but she immediately resists. He sits up on the bed and warns her never to resist his touch again, then moves closer while she helplessly pleads for him to reconsider his actions. Power claimed through fear is never true authority. It only reveals the darkness of the one who wields it. Disregarding her cries and driven by lust, he pulls her close and forces himself on her again, repeating the horrors of every night. A few days later, the father of Bhadman's house help sits outside in confusion, anxiously waiting for his daughter's return. She walks up to him and they embrace, after which he gestures for her to sit beside him. She had called her father several times to make a complaint, explaining that she couldn't discuss it over the phone, so he asked her to come and visit him. Certain burdens can only be shared in person, where words carry the weight of truth. The lady tells her father that she is fed up with Bhadman's behavior and has only returned to inform him of her decision to quit her job in his house. She further reveals to him that from the time she began working for Bhadman, he has been entering her room at night to sleep with her. Silence in the face of abuse only deepens the wound. Speaking out is the first step toward freedom. The father is shocked by this revelation, knowing that Bhadman is a married man and, given his wealth, never imagined he could live such a life. Wealth and status never guarantee virtue. Even the richest can hide the darkest sins. Seeing that her father now understands her situation, she tells him she does not plan to return, but to her surprise, he asks if she is pregnant. Confused by the unexpected question, as it wasn't part of her complaint, she tells her father she's not pregnant, and his mood quickly turns sour. He then angrily asks why she hasn't become pregnant by Bhadman, given that she claims he comes to sleep with her every night, and even questions whether she truly has a womb. Blaming the victim never justifies the crime. Cruelty is not measured by silence or compliance. To her father, Bhadman's sexual interest in his daughter is seen as an opportunity to lift the family out of poverty, rather than as an act of abuse. He explains to his daughter that Bhadman is a wealthy and influential man, and confronting him or exposing his wrongdoing publicly would be futile, so it's better to use the situation to their advantage. He reminds her that Bhadman has been married 4 years without children from his wife, and if she were to get pregnant by him before his wife does, she could become his legitimate partner while also lifting their family out of poverty. Turning abuse into advantage may fill pockets, but it empties the soul. The lady suddenly sees her father's point, her greed awakening as she realizes she could rise from a house help to Bhadman's wife. Noticing her interest, her father advises her that when she returns home, she should prepare to submit to Bhadman, focusing on getting pregnant for him. With concern, she asks her father how Bhadman's wife would feel if she found out what they had done, and he assures her of his protection before urging her to hurry back to the house. Ambition without conscience may promise gain, but it carries the weight of betrayal. For a few coins, this man has sold his daughter to a married man, hoping to use the reward to secure the life he couldn't earn himself. When selfish gain outweighs a child's safety, even a parent can become the architect of their own shame. That same day, the lady sits in the living room, drinking alcohol to gather the courage to seduce Bhadman. When she returned from visiting her father, Bhadman's wife was preparing to travel, and she decided to take advantage of the opportunity. As he enters, the lady rushes to hug him and welcome him as if they were dating, but fearing his secret life might be exposed, Bhadman pulls back and calls out for his wife. Sensing that his hesitation stems from fear of exposing their illicit relationship, the lady informs him that his wife has already gone on her journey. She gently guides him to sit on the couch, and once seated, she immediately offers him a glass of alcohol, but he quickly declines, claiming it might be poisoned. She takes the first sip from the glass to dismiss his concerns, but he still refuses it and asks her why she is behaving so strangely toward him. The lady drapes her arms around him romantically and in a slow, seductive voice, tells him that she has developed an interest in their midnight encounters and has deeply missed him. Bhadman is taken aback, knowing full well that their midnight encounters have always been against her will, something he never bothered to respect. With a lustful smile, he slowly inches closer to the lady, reveling in the joy of being desired and anticipating the ease with which he will satisfy his pleasure. Unbeknownst to him, the lady is on a secret mission to get pregnant by him and dethrone his wife as the legitimate queen of the house, while she rises to claim the throne. Already beaming with joy, Bhadman lifts her from the couch onto the bed. 3 weeks later, Bhadman is on the couch, absorbed in his phone, when the house help walks in. She slowly approaches him, placing her hands on his shoulders to caress him, but he immediately pushes her away and tells her that his wife is home. The lady ignores his warning and continues to place her hands on him, showing her affection and desire for him. Love shown without boundaries can challenge loyalty and awaken hidden desires. She tells Bhadman that she has good news to share, but feeling uneasy with her presence while his wife is home, he asks her to leave and return later. The lady refuses to obey, insisting that her news is urgent and that she will not leave until she has spoken with him. She hands him a letter, and without opening it, he takes it and tells her to leave, saying he will inform her once he has read it, but she refuses to go. He decides to read the letter, and as he opens it, he's shocked to discover that the lady is pregnant. In a fit of anger, he immediately denies the pregnancy, crumples the letter, throws it at the lady, and warns her not to disclose her revelation to anyone. The lady erupts in anger, raising her voice as she reminds Bhadman that he initiated their illicit affair and had been with her night after night without protection. She presents the pregnancy with the outcome of their encounters and insists that he marry her. When wrongdoing bears fruit, even silence cannot hide the harvest. Bhadman urges the lady to abort the pregnancy, making it clear he has no intention of marrying her. Enraged by his words, she threatens to expose their affair to his wife. When betrayal meets betrayal, secrets lose their power to stay hidden. Within seconds, Bhadman finds himself arguing and exchanging words with his house help, a lady he never imagined would have the courage to challenge or disrespect him. Those once silenced by fear can become the loudest voices when pushed to the edge. In this moment, Bhadman realizes that by failing to control his sexual urges, he has lowered himself to a point where his house help can threaten him with his marriage. Unchecked desire can erode respect, leaving even the powerful vulnerable to those they once controlled. Bhadman's wife is on the bed, absorbed in her phone, when the house help rudely walks in to confront her. Annoyed by the house help's rude intrusion, she immediately scolds her and demands to know the reason for her visit. Unbeknownst to her, she's about to learn a truth capable of unraveling her entire marriage. The lady informs Bhadman's wife that she's pregnant, and Bhadman's wife is immediately filled with disappointment. She scolds her house help, reminding her that she had warned her repeatedly against sleeping around, unaware that her husband was the one responsible. She gestures for her to sit beside her and, with a heart full of genuine concern, asks if she knows who is responsible for the pregnancy and whether she has informed the man. She tells Bhadman's wife that her husband has been sleeping with her and is responsible for her pregnancy, adding that he has been informed and is being asked to marry her legally. Bhadman's wife bursts into a sarcastic laugh, struggling to believe that such betrayal has been happening under her roof, and is shocked by the audacity of the house help to demand that her husband make her a wife as well. She accuses the house help of deliberately seducing her husband and intentionally getting pregnant with the aim of becoming a co-wife, completely disregarding any abuse she may have suffered from him. Realizing she isn't getting the response she hoped for from the wife, the house help threatens to report Bhadman's abuse to the police and have him arrested. Convinced that the lady is a threat to her marriage, Bhadman's wife strikes her and immediately presses a pillow over her face to strangle her. This is a lesson to everyone. Uncontrolled desire leads to downfall. Ignoring self-control can destroy relationships and reputations. Greed blinds judgment. Pursuing wealth or status at the expense of morals can bring disastrous consequences. Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video and comment where you are watching from.